Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Getting to Know Our Heavenly Family. I'm still Regis O'Neill, I tell you that every time. And this week, we're talking about a great Scottish saint, Saint John Ogilvie. Hope I pronounced that right. He was born in 1579 in Scotland, to Scottish nobility, actually. He came from money and power. He was raised Calvinist, following the Protestant teachings of John Calvin. Scotland was a very Protestant country at the time, and he was raised in the Protestant Calvinist tradition. When he was a teenager, he was sent to mainland Europe to be educated, and actually while he was over there, he was kind of drawn to the arguments of a lot of Catholic scholars that he encountered during his education. He kind of had this tug of war between Calvinism and Catholicism going on between him. And so he did the right thing. He turned to the scriptures for answers. And in reading the scriptures, he came to the truth that Catholicism is the true teachings of Jesus Christ. And he decided to convert to Catholicism at the age of 17. He was especially drawn to the universality of Catholicism. Obviously, we know that the word Catholic itself means universal. And he was drawn to that. He was drawn to the fact that it was a faith for all peoples. Shortly after converting to Catholicism, he joined the Jesuits and was soon ordained a priest. Now, from the moment that he was ordained a priest, he actually was begging to be sent back to Protestant Scotland to do mission work, to try to convert some of those Protestants to the Catholic faith. After a number of years, his superiors agreed and they let him go. He spent 2 years over in Scotland and didn't have much success. He converted a few people, but it wasn't really working out for him. So he actually came back and he said, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't make it work." And his superiors were like, "What the heck, man? You spent all this time begging us to send you back to Scotland. We send you back, and after 2 years, oh, it's not good enough. It didn't work out." No. So they sent him back to Scotland. So he was from Scotland, came to Europe, was sent as a missionary to Scotland, came back to Europe, and was sent as a missionary to Scotland again. He's playing ping pong between Scotland and mainland Europe. But he did go back, and he had more success during his second stint in Scotland. He converted a number of Protestants. He served the underground Catholic community as Catholics were being actively persecuted by the King of Scotland. Well, eventually he was unfortunately betrayed by someone within the Catholic community in Scotland, and he was brought before the Scottish king. And basically he was told that all he had to do for his life to be spared was to acknowledge that the Scottish king had jurisdiction in spiritual matters. Now, Saint John Ogilvie was a Scottish patriot. He loved his country, and during his trial, he actually said, "I acknowledge the Scottish king's authority in all matters temporal, all matters of this world, and I would give my life for him for that authority. But I cannot acknowledge his authority over the authority of God, over the authority of the teachings of Jesus Christ in the Catholic faith." And so he was sentenced to death for refusing to denounce his faith and betray his fellow Catholics. Even when he was on the gallows about to be hanged, as they were putting the noose around his neck, they offered him an estate in the Scottish countryside and a nice comfortable life if right then he would only acknowledge the Scottish king's jurisdiction in spiritual matters. But he didn't do it, and he was executed as a martyr. What a wonderful, powerful example of a strength of faith through a difficult time of persecution. He was canonized in 1976 as a saint, and we can look to him as someone who really had to fight hard for their faith. When we, gripe about having to go to Mass on Sundays or talk about how difficult it can be to get to confession. Well, people have died for their Catholic faith, and people continue, sadly, to die for their Catholic faith in different parts of the world today. So a little reminder that we have it pretty good here in the United States. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Getting to Know Our Heavenly Family, and we hope to see you right back here next week, same time, same place. God bless you all.